Hello. This video, and the series as a whole, is not about the South Asian caste system per se, nor will it focus on the religious dimensions that are often dominate public discussions on this topic. I will assume that you are already familiar, at least in general terms, with how caste functions in South Asia. If not, I strongly encourage you to read the Wikipedia article on the caste system, especially the sections that cover caste both inside and outside of South Asia. I will add the link in the description. This series argues that caste is rooted primarily in economic structures, with religion playing a secondary role. To show this, I've divided this series into 3 concise videos, presented in deliberately reverse order. This first episode looks at semi-caste formations, groups outside South Asia that, while not castes, share key features like social closure and inherited roles. The second will focus on the socio-economic origins of caste in South Asia, avoiding the religious interpretations. The third will examine the present-day economic conditions of caste, where we will learn many similarities with contemporary non-caste societies. This reverse structure serves a purpose: to show that caste systems are fundamentally economic in nature. So let's begin. In the foundation of a term caste lies 3 very specific factors that determines the word. First, endogamy and heredity. Second, social stratification. And third, fixed labor sphere. As I have already mentioned, today I not only do not study castes outside of South Asia, but I analyze groups that are extremely close to this term, but still do not directly relate to it. That's how I will blur the seemingly clear line between castes and non-caste societies. So we can rephrase it in the question: how any social group become a caste, or at least a semi-caste structure? First case will be the shamans in Central Asian region, specifically in Mongolia. Shamans were not simply religious specialists. They occupied a clearly defined social niche, and their role was predominantly hereditary. While some became shamans through visions or illness, most were born into shamanic lineages. Often the spiritual calling was expected, even inevitable for children of shamans. This formed a semi-closed occupational group, a hallmark of semi-castes. Roles weren't legally fixed, but tightly regulated by belief, custom, and community expectations. Refusing the calling could bring illness or social pressure, seen as a punishment from the spirits. Spiritual labor was inherited, not chosen. Though shamans could marry outside their group, their role still isolated them. They were respected and feared, useful but yet marginal. From here we can see the closeness to the term caste and its 3 main factors mentioned. But shamans actually had specific economic and social tasks. Remaining a form of manifestation of religious thinking, they closed the hole in the need for a sense of control, where conditions are most uncontrollable and unpredictable in the steppe, which I also talked about in my previous video. The link will be also in the description. Communicating with nature and spirits, they directly influence the economy. For example, allowing and prohibiting hunting on specific days. Dr. Manveer Singh examines this aspect in detail in his work, Shamanism, the Timeless Religion. So, in my opinion, shamans provide a proposal for a specific economic demand in managing and predicting unforeseen natural conditions. These predictions are needed to maintain the economic stability of the population. Of course, the real effectiveness of such predictions is not discussed here. We have analyzed an example outside of South Asia, where the economy was hidden behind a veil of religious thinking. Now we can take the absolutely opposite situation, where an obviously economically formed group gradually acquired signs of caste with some religious justification superimposed on top. The second case is Haenyeo, the free-diving woman of Jeju Island in South Korea. Like the shamans of Mongolia, Haenyeo are not a caste in the legal or religious sense, but they clearly exhibit many of the same structural traits. They form a hereditary occupational group with clear internal structure and limited permeability. Most Haenyeo were trained from childhood, usually by their mothers, and the role passed down through generations. So here we can see heredity. Though respected, they were also socially distinct, forming tight, female-led communities with their own codes, rituals, and even economic independence from men. Over time, this profession created not just a unique social identity, but also a divergent religious culture. Haenyeo began worshipping sea deities and local gods, largely absent from Korean mainland religions. These cults reflected their daily risks and were deeply tied to the ocean's unpredictability. Importantly, this wasn't driven by ideology but by necessity. Jeju's land was poor for farming, and sea diving became the most viable livelihood. As a result, economic adaptation hardened into social inheritance. Like with the Mongolian Shamans, what began as a labor became identity. And now we see the fixed labor sphere that creates an economic imbalance by pushing the group of divers to another level of the social hierarchy, as the main breadwinners not only in the family but in the entire society of the island. And now the most important part. This semi-caste structure disappeared with the economic modernization of Korea and the integration of Jeju Island into the general economy of the country. Work became less profitable, new opportunities opened up, and all social and partly even religious superstructures fell away by themselves. As can be seen from the examples, such semi-caste formations firstly really originate from economic demands, and secondly, they soon acquire a religious subtext securing a special status. However, at this point you may have a reasonable question. I showed semi-caste with religious and economic subtext, but it is not entirely clear which of these appeared first, so it is too early to claim that the basis of castes is economics. This question will be examined in the next part, where I will consider the economic part of the question of the genesis of the South Asian castes. There we will find out which of the factors play a primary role. If you have any more examples of semi-castes, please mention them in the comments. That will be very helpful for the research. Also, do not forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to not miss the next two parts. Goodbye.